It's Waxing Lyrical, baby.
Hello, Waxers, and welcome to Waxing Lyrical with Mainz and Dutts. I'm your host, Mainz, and my colleague, who will be in Munich with me in 2022, is Mr. Neil Dutton. How are we, Neil?
I don't care if I don't go to the game. I will be in Munich when the game is being played.
I think there's two types of NFL UK fans, right? There's the type that, get season tickets, and there's the other type who don't really like Wembley. London's a bit of a pain in the arse and would much prefer to go to Germany. We're the second.
And proudly.
Proudly the second, yeah. But enough chatter, which I'm sure we'll come on to. Hopefully it will be the Chiefs in Munich, because I think they're the German representatives on that kind of international thing, right?
I'd forgotten about that. Yes, I believe they are.
Which will be interesting. But it's Super Bowl week, so we are Super Bowl heavy. We're going to start with a quiz. Neil's going to test my knowledge. I know the answer to this, as in it's not very good. Then we're going to look at the game, kind of what we usually do. How do you win? How do you lose? We're then going to give you some picks, and they're going to be all over the board. Props, player picks, and then just give you an MVP and a score, basically. And allow you all on your way. Sound good, Neil?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, let's start and let's go on to the quiz. Go on, Neil, you got 8 questions. Talk me through it.
Okay, they're just random things that I've found out in my reading on Super Bowl matters this week, and I just thought I'd like to test your knowledge of them as well. So, let's begin. If the Bengals win the Super Bowl, Joe Burrow can become only the 3rd quarterback to win a national title and a Super Bowl title. Can you name the other 2? I can offer a clue.
Did Joe Namath win a national title with Alabama?
He did.
See, the issue always becomes on these type of situations. Is this an old?
It's a consensus national college
means,
football
which
title.
Means it's fucking old.
Do you want a clue?
Yes, please.
What's Burrow's first name?
Joe. Oh, Montana won it with Notre Dame.
Joe Montana. Okay, moving to the other side. Matthew Stafford is looking to become the 3rd quarterback to win the Super Bowl in his first year with the team. Tom Brady is one of them, who did it last year. Who is the other?
He's a regular starter.
He was for that year, yes.
Is it weirdly like Jeff Hostetler?
No.
With the New York Football Giants?
He'd been there for years.
Had he? I always remember that he never played, but then again, because he hadn't played, because Sims had played. What era are we talking here, Neil?
Beginning of mine.
Okay. Was it Brad Johnson, the Buccaneers? Was he 2nd year?
I think he was 2nd year.
Nah, I don't know then.
Trent Dilfer.
That would have been the obvious other question, but I thought he was there the year before, but obviously he wasn't. No, he was in Tampa Bay.
Okay, both the Los Angeles Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals are the number 4 seeds from their conference. When was the last time the 2 number 4 teams played in the Super Bowl? The 2 number 4 seeds, sorry.
Bloody hell. The number 4 seeds. Is that Ravens 49ers? What were they?
Don't know. The answer is the 2 number 4 seeds have never met in the Super Bowl.
Oh, I hate fucking trick questions.
This will be the first Super Bowl since post-season seeding began in 1975 that does not feature at least one team who was seeded either 1 or 2.
That's pretty spectacular, that, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. How much is a 30-second Super Bowl commercial this year?
I wouldn't even know. About $30 million, probably.
$6.5 million.
Love it.
How much was a Super Bowl commercial in Super Bowl 1? or as it was called, the Professional World Football Championship.
$1,000.
$37,500.
Why is that quite expensive then?
It's not ironic, but coincidentally, finishing bottom of the Premier League in 92-93 earned you £37,500 in TV prize money.
Well, there you go. To get a bit more now.
I'll allow this $5 million either way. But how much beer is it estimated will be drunk by Americans on Super Bowl Sunday?
I love the idea that they've decided, like, it's just going to be Americans because
it's too late to start drinking for us.
But it's not. But we've done the one where you nearly missed the Super Bowl because you're that drunk.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that a couple of times. Yeah,
that's
so
just
in gallons. Come on.
In gallons.
In gallons.
I don't know. 350.
325 million.
Yeah, 350 million. Yeah.
How many chicken wings would be eaten?
Chicken wings. That's gonna be like. That's gonna be in the millions, surely. I'm gonna say like 10 million.
1.2 billion.
Fucking hell, that's a lot of chicken wings. That. Don't let the Mullins listen to this. Fucking hell, that's a lot of dead chickens. That.
And finally, Super Bowl records. I'm going to name some statistical categories, and I want you to tell me the single game record holders. Okay. Passing yards.
So on this is in a game, not like because it would be Tom. Because the answer would be Tom Brady, right?
So,
most passing yards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of like the.
He didn't win. It's Tom Brady, 505 against the Eagles.
It's the Eagles game, of course it is. Yeah, of course it is.
Passing touchdowns
in a game.
These are all single game statistics.
Like I know that. I know a half. It's Doug Williams and Steve Young. It's 4. Who's got most touchdowns in it? Is it Steve Young and the Chargers? Is it the Chargers game?
Steve Young with 6.
6, yeah.
Rushing yards.
Fucking hell, rushing yards. That's one of them. Like that's got to be like 8 years ago, surely.
With 204.
It's oh god, I know who it is. It's everybody's favourite no-mark running back, Timmy Smith for Washington against the Denver Broncos.
Rushing
the Washington
touchdowns.
Commanders, I think.
Washington Commanders.
Which if you were aware, Neil, I thought they won that game in 1990. That the 1991 year? No,
that was the Bills.
No, the 80. Whatever, 87, but according to the Washington Commanders signet, it's 88 because it was in the January. No, fuck off.
Brilliant.
Sorry.
Rushing touchdowns. The total is 3.
It's TD against the Packers, is it?
Terrell Davis. Receptions.
In a game.
14.
Oh, it's Jimmy. It's the whirlwind, Jimmy White.
Jimmy White, yep. Receiving yards, 215.
The greatest wide receiver of all time, Mr. Jerry Rice.
Receiving
Just think
touchdowns.
about that. Like literally, before we go on, like Jerry Rice has the most passing yards. That was in Super Bowl 23. Like that means if they would have played that game now, Jerry Rice would get 500 receiving yards.
Yeah, you'd have all of them.
People could like clothesline Jerry Rice and they wouldn't get a pass interference. They wouldn't get like holding or illegal touch or anything. Jerry Rice would get 7 billion yards now.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I've distracted myself.
And just remember, he ran a 4.67 in his 40 spines. Not that good. So, receiving touchdowns in a single game with 3.
I know the most receiving touchdowns by a quarterback, and it's 1. It's Nick Foles.
And
Most
familiar.
receiving touchdowns in a game. I don't know that.
Jerry Rice.
Fucking just guess. Just say Jerry Rice. Was that in the? That's in the 6. That's in the Chargers game, right?
I believe so.
I find amazing that, like, you talk about Tom Brady, but, like, in theory, Jerry Rice had 2 Hall of Fame careers, one with Joe Montana and one with Steve Young. Sorry,
Yeah.
I digress.
The last one. This is only an official stat due to the great work that's been put in by Pro Football Reference and the various people who've tracked the games. But the most sacks in a game with 4.0.
So is this?
I'll give you a hint. It's before 1982 because that's
This
when
is going to be
sacks became
someone.
official.
This is going to be, because the way you've described it. This is going to be someone on, like, the Steelers. So, like, probably, like, I'm going to say Mean Joe Green. It's probably not Mean Joe Green, but I'm going to say Mean Joe Green.
It's L.C. Greenwood of the Steel Curtain.
But it's going to be from, like, a billion years ago, right?
Yeah, it was one of the 70s ones.
Amazing.
There are a host of people who've had 3 in a game, including the most recent was Grady Jarrett, and Reggie White, of course, had 3 against the Patriots in the one that was followed the 96 season, but obviously by the Washington calendar was the 97 Super Bowl.
I don't think we will necessarily do this pick, although we might do. But there's probably a possibility that record gets beaten this year.
I'm sure it'll come up.
Let's get on to the Super Bowl itself. So Neil, usual thing, really. I'm gonna give you the start of a sentence, and I want you to finish it for me. We'll start with the Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Rams will win the Super Bowl if
Matthew Stafford doesn't get flummoxed when the Bengals refuse to blitz him, and Sean McVay grows a pair. If he goes aggressive, they win this game.
Do you know what? I was listening to the Mina Kimes show today. Brilliant as always. And I have a weird feeling that the Los Angeles Rams will win if they ignore the fact that there's 8. Well, they don't ignore the drop 8 and they run the ball in boxes that allow them to run well, because in theory that is what this team really wants to do.
Since the playoffs started, Sean McVay has wanted to establish hard, despite the fact that Cam Akers, almost as if, rushing back from a torn Achilles and then being thrust into a workhorse role, is averaging about 1.7 yards per carry since the playoffs began. But Sean McVay wants to establish.
But I think in this situation, in this game, that's not the worst thing to go about doing, because you should have boxes and situations that allow that to be a not sensible, but a productive thing to do.
As you all know, if you're going to encourage a team to run the ball, then you need them to stay patient, and you need them to basically sign up to the fact that they're going to have to go 10 plays to go down the field. And then you also have to factor in the fact that your head coach is a coward, and if it gets to 4th and 2, he's going to kick a field goal.
But I think much like the last game, it's coward on coward crime.
Yeah, the problem is that Zach Taylor is a disciple of Sean McVay, and I think there's nothing both these coaches would like to do more than literally win this game 15-12, despite the fact they have explosive playmakers in their passing games. But I think it's basically, I think that there's you can tell yourself a story of Matthew Stafford losing this game for the Rams if things go wrong, more so than I think Joe Burrow will lose the game for the Bengals. If you know what I mean?
So in theory, the second sentence is the Rams must avoid, and that is the bad Matthew Stafford game.
Yeah. There's a time for being bold, and there's a time to take your shot. There's also a time not to try and force something, and it's the Super Bowl. And I know it's this is it. This is balls to the wall. But after everything he's been through, after everything they've had this season, for it to come down to you did a play that would have been fine in Detroit in Week 8 of some random losing season, but you did it in the Super Bowl in the stadium we have to come back and play in next year. The potential's there.
I'm going to say the Rams must avoid ego. So there's a number of them. There's the ego of Matthew Stafford's arm. There's the ego of players like Odell Beckham Jr. And there's the ego of Jalen Ramsey. I just want to cover Jamar Chase, even if it's to the detriment of the rest of the defense. Play the way you're playing and go that way. If it's me, I think I've watched too many Bill Belichick games. I'll probably get Chase to cover Higgins and get Ramsey to cover Higgins and double Chase. But that's just me. The Bengals will win if, Neil.
They win if they can keep Joe Burrow upright and if they knock the runs on first down on the head.
Yeah,
basically,
the Bengals will win if they throw on first down.
Yeah, encourage the Rams to play the game that they don't want to play. I'm not saying they can't play it because they've got Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham. They don't want to fill the air with footballs. Make them. Yeah. Because that increases the variance and increases the likelihood of Matthew Stafford making a mistake when you dial up the sweet drop 8. But it doesn't matter if you can't literally be taking 7-step drop after 7-step drop and hurling bombs. Your offensive line is not good enough, and Aaron Donald is a monster. But if you can keep him upright enough that he can get the ball into the hands of Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, CJ Uzama, then that increases the odds that the Rams are going to have to come down and play your game. And they don't want to. They can. And no one's doubting that they can do it, but Sean McVay doesn't want to be playing, doesn't want video game numbers in the Super Bowl. It's a massive thing though that it sounds simple. Keep Joe Burrow upright. That's Aaron Donald. He's a force of nature, and it's we'll just keep him quiet. Best of luck. And if you can, there's Von Miller who's still got a bit left in the tank.
Floyd as well, right? This is a really good defensive line. So I think the Bengals will win if, as we said, they knock that 1st and 10 run on the head. Because the problem you've got with that the 1st and 10 run is it becomes 2nd and 9, and then it becomes 3rd and 8, and everyone knows you're passing, and you can pin your ears back and do whatever you need to do. Like there was a stat that I was listening to a podcast, and he said that the Rams, who also fall into this fucking stupid trap, were 13 of 18 on 3rd downs against the 49ers. And there was two things about that. The good thing was they converted 13 3rd downs. The bad thing was they had fucking 18 3rd downs. That means they've had 18 quote unquote 4 down situations where the first 2 plays were shit. which is pretty fair, right?
It's as coaches say. I remember reading once, all offensive coordinators dream of a world of 3rd and 2. No, the best ones dream where you never get to 3rd down, but you still move the ball.
I would go 1st and 10, followed by a 1st and 10, followed by a 1st and 10, followed by a 1st and 10, probably followed by a touchdown. But that's just me. 6-7
plays, you've got a touchdown, and now come on, defense, let's see what you can do. But what do we know?
The Bengals must avoid thinking that they could do a similar thing that happened against the Titans and expect to win. You can't get sacked 9 times and expect to win the game. Now, I think it should be noted, because it's easy to blame offensive lines, that possibly 4 of those sacks were clearly Joe Burrow trying to make a play, holding on to the ball's fault. Whereas if we use the Peyton Manning, Tom Brady situation, it would have been thrown away. So both need to be true. You can't have 9 sacks. You also can't just try and force plays for the sake of forcing plays. Take what you can get, and if that is another down, but closer to the first down marker, that's a good thing.
I think of the two of them, like if we talk about holding the ball too long, it's a criticism that has been labelled at Matthew Stafford on occasion. I think there's more serenity about Burrow, that when he's in the grasp, he knows, oh well, time to go down then. Whereas Matthew Stafford can sometimes have that, I'm going down, but I can still get this pass off. Not on Sunday, Matthew. Just go down. Just
They define it as arm arrogance, right?
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford has arm arrogance.
I could still make a play. Why don't you make the next play?
Yeah, exactly. Let's get on to the picks, Neil. Let's give the people what they want. Like. So in the championship round, I was 3-4. Neil, you were 2-4. Overall, you were 17-24. I am 14-24. So a comfortable lead so far, Neil. But that could all change given the number of props we're going to have here. So first one of our favourites. These are in no particular order, but we'll go favourite first. And the favourite is, what colour liquid would be poured over the winning coach of Super Bowl 56?
Can I have the odds?
Odds are orange, plus 130, lime green and yellow all one, plus 300, so 3-1. Clear/water 175, blue is 600, red is 1,000, and purple is plus 1,200. So 100.
This, of course, is our annual reminder that Gatorade is piss and shouldn't be drunk under any circumstances.
Correct. Someone needs to move Lucasade to America, and it would literally run over Gatorade. Could
you imagine getting Lucasade poured over you though?
Sticky that.
Oh god,
sticky that, man.
Lucasade's thought me right because obviously it's isotonic, but the normal Lucasade, no, that'd be too sticky. I'm going to go with orange.
So I'm also going to go with orange, and I'm going to tell you why. You've done this by process of looking at colours, and orange is the favourite. Do you know why orange is the favourite, Neil?
Because isn't that Gatorade original?
Well, yes, but that's not the reason. The reason is because on Pardon My Take, Sam Hubbard was on the show, and the guys on Pardon My Take asked Sam Hubbard which Gatorade they had on their side of the field, and usually they don't answer, and Sam said orange. Before that, the opening odds of this was 2-1, and is now basically evens. So people listen to Pardon My Take for a start, and they can make lines move. I found this out last night from Joe Valenzuela and Callum Squires on the Touchdown review podcast. So yeah, brilliant stuff. So we are both going for orange. Love it. Neil, it's a classic. National anthem, over or under 98 seconds. It's being sang by Mickey Guyton. I have no idea who that is.
Didn't he used to play for Newcastle?
That was Mickey Quinn.
Oh, of course, yeah. Have we got any history of over-under for the anthems over the last few years? The form guide, as it were?
The form guide, I think, is 4 out the last 6 are overs. Mickey Guyton, first of all, is a lady. She's an American country music artist raised in Texas. She was exposed to various types of music at an early age. I don't know why we're using the phrase exposed, but anyway. Incorporate elements of contemporary country and R&B music. She has one child. Don't know why that matters.
See, the country and western influence plus with some R&B, you'd think there's going to be some drawn out notes. So, but I'm going to, if 4 out of 6, I'm going to say a soft under.
Neil's going under. I'm going massive, ginormous over. Because yeah, that's just how this stuff works. Neil, let's move over to the best part of the Super Bowl this year, the halftime show. And the first thing is artists to perform first. Odds are Dr. Dre plus 150, Mary J. Blige 2-1, Snoop Dogg 4-1, Kendrick Lamar in 13-2, and Eminem 7-1.
They're going to build it up because I think it's going to be like the grand reveal will be Dre, because then that way they can play him in at some point by forgot about Dre. So Dre coming in first doesn't sit with me. So I think if we like try and ramp it up, I think Kendrick Lamar is probably the softer choice to play in. You know what I mean? He's like a good opener, and then you start cramp up the intensity levels. So then it'll be Mary J, then Snoop, then Eminem, then Dre. So I will say Kendrick.
I like what you've done there. I completely and utterly disagree with the concept, because if you do not believe that Dr. Dre is coming out first, you're fucking mental, and that sounds like you're mental. You would make money in this bet, and I will win it, because it will be Dr. Dre.
At the end of the day, if you think someone who's made more money from selling headphones than he has from selling records is going to come out first, more power to you.
To be fair, he's made billions from the headphones. The first song performed, just so you know, based on your odds, you can only pick one song. That will be Humble, which you don't even know what that is. That's Kendrick Lamar. So that's a great story. But the first song is going to be
California.
Still Dre. See, right, now the favourite is California Love. And as I brought up on the Touchdown podcast yesterday, does that mean that there will be some kind of Tupac hologram shenanigans? Which everyone suggested there would be. So I'm going, no, I'm not doing that. So I'm going to say it's still Dre. And that is actually 11-2. You get a 10-1 on Humble. Let's move on, Neil. You've got the odds in front of you. There's player receiving yards or player rushing yards. Of them, over-unders, which is your favourite bet? I will go first on this, and it's simple for me, this, and it's going to lead quite nicely into my MVP pick. My over is Odell Beckham Jr. over 63.5 yards receiving.
Over 63.5. See, again, I can see that happening because I don't think he's going to get peppered. I think the Rams, if they want to win, don't want to be filling the air with footballs. I've used that phrase twice already. I feel dirty. I'm sorry. We've seen that Odell has emerged as a viable part of this passing game, but he's not going to get 65 yards because if anyone gets all the yards, it's going to be Cooper Kupp. See, my favourite one is, if I can just find it. Come on, talk amongst yourselves, and I'll find this in a second. Player props, where are you?
I also like the fact that you can get 10-11 on Jamar Chase over 3.5 rush yards. Some kind of jet sweep number. Jet sweep,
yeah. Well, I say that they do like to use him in that because they just want to get the ball in his hands because you just go. I mean, the last time I saw something that fast, someone was bragging about it doing the Kessel run in 12 parsecs. I actually like who will catch a pass first, Kupp or Chase.
Okay.
And Jamar Chase is at plus 135. So you can do your odds conversion, that is. So I will take that over Kupp, who's at minus 170.
She was taking Chase first catch. I like it. Okay, Neil, let's get into the meat of this. Give me your over under on the game score. The game score is 48.5.
I'm going to take the under, as I think both these teams want to. As I say, they want to trust in Evan McPherson and Matt Gay, because who wouldn't?
I'm also going under. I have a score actually, which is ironically 28-20 to one of the teams, so that would literally be under by half a point. Neil, the Rams are favoured by 4.5. Tell me who's going to win the game. Who will the Rams cover that score? And then who is your MVP?
There is a parallel universe. As we all know, there are countless parallel universes because every action has an equal and opposite reaction. But this particular one is the one where I'm a Bengals fan. If one of our friends could say Cincinnati.
Correct.
So, there is somewhere out there is a Neil Dutton who probably not as handsome as me.
Probably
Might be as funny, but probably not. He's sitting there bricking his pants because it's the Bengals going to a Super Bowl. That Neil Dutton will be happy very, very late on Sunday night, Monday morning, because the Cincinnati Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl. And they are going to win 21-17.
That's wild. Like, just for everybody, just think that we're living in a world where Neil. If I would have told you 2 years ago, Neil, I was going to pick. You were going to pick the Bengals to win the Super Bowl, and he wasn't anywhere near outside the realms of possibility. You'd call me insane, but it makes sense. Who's your MVP in the 21-17 game? I'm guessing it's Evan McPherson.
Of course it is.
3-1.
Just to make Denny happy. The MVP will be Joe Burrow. Even though it's not going to be a high-scoring game, it will be the situation. We know how it plays out. The narrative is so important. But I think Burrow will have a couple. He'll make enough plays that he'll get the MVP if they win the game.
Joe Burrow right now is about 5-2. So you have got the Bengals to win, and obviously then to not the Rams not to cover. I've got a score of 28-20, as we've already said. I believe that 28-20 will be to the Los Angeles Rams. They will win their home. They will cover. For me, with 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, Odell Beckham Jr. will be the MVP of the Super Bowl, and the internet may explode and Cleveland may fall into the sea.
It must be tough being a Browns fan, because I think, despite the fact they probably don't have hard feelings towards Odell, they probably don't have many positive, but it's the thought of Odell Beckham can flop and fail in the Super Bowl, but the Bengals win it.
So on the touchdown show, we have Joe Valenzuela, who's from Texas but is a Browns fan, is a massive Browns fan. You can't stick Joe Burrow, because basically in his mind, rightly or wrongly, Joe Burrow and Baker Mayfield are the same human. If you know what I mean, they've done the same things up to the point where Joe Burrow has gone further, obviously, but he did really well at college, first round pick, blah 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 blah. He watched his team annihilate the Cincinnati Bengals in the middle of the season when the Bengals were good and the Browns were not. When the Browns were good and the Bengals were not. And now he's sitting here in a world where somehow Joe Burrow's team got sacked by the Titans 9 times and won. Got the Raiders, who can't win a playoff game, and then beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. Totally mental. So you won't be surprised to hear that Joe is hard on the LA Rams winning and just having to accept that Odell Beckham Jr. gets a ring. Neil, Odell Beckham Jr. for me, Burrow for you. I've got the Rams, you've got the Bengals. Some big moves coming here. Both taking the under, because we believe the coaches love 4th and 2 punts or field goals from 55 yards.
The phrase "for fuck's sake" will get used an awful lot.
I'm looking forward to having flashbacks as Gay kicks that 28-yard field goal early in the first quarter to go up 3-0 after being first and goal on the 3.
I see more than 2 field goal attempts with a 20 on the yardage. I might go home. I might not. I've walked out of games for less.
Are you watching it at Michael's?
Yes, I shall be watching it with friend Chal. First time I've watched a Super Bowl with someone else in the house, obviously for various reasons, since the last Rams one against the Patriots. Our friend Jonah, friend of the pod, I believe will be joining us as well.
Oh, nice.
So that's good. So thoughts and prayers for Louise. She tries to sleep in the next room with me and Jonah watching football in the early hours of the morning. It gets loud.
It sounds like an Anne Mullen, can you keep it down to a dull roar, which was, I think, a previous Rams versus Patriots game.
I think it was.
I would be watching it in Great Yarmouth on my own. Kate, my wife, will probably stay up to watch the halftime show and then go, I don't want to watch the rest of this shit now, so I'm going to bed. I haven't booked Monday off, so I hope they're not hoping me to be productive. Anyway, Neil, before we are back reviewing the Super Bowl, where can people catch you?
Catch me on Twitter at @NDutton13. This week, on the back end of last week as well, I wrote the passing route report. So it looks at my annual look at the different routes that quarterbacks throw. So who throws the most posts, who has the most efficient screen game, who threw the most interceptions on go routes. It's all in here. I've also had a piece with the odds for next year's Super Bowl. And also they're both for Numberfire, and also in the latest of our rookie comparison series for RotoViz, I did one this week on Jalen Waddle and why he could be the next T.Y. Hilton and hopefully is not the next Jarvis Landry.
I'm at Mainz and combined we are at waxing_lyrical. Weekly we do the touchdown review for the touchdown.co.uk. We had all 5 of us on the pod at the same time, loads of fun. We talked coaching hires and lots of NFL Super Bowl stuff like we've done tonight, and we also heard Joe swear when Burnley scored against Man U. Epic stuff. Although Taib, the resident Geordie, was muted as Newcastle made it 2-1, so good for him.
I'm not at all bitter, of course, by the way, that the podcast that you do, I've not once been invited on it.
That's because you don't write for the touchdown.co.uk, because you're a professional and I do amateur stuff. So
you say professional. I still write Willie and Fart occasionally.
Yeah, but professional, i.e. for professional websites. I mean, you're not professional because, as you said, you write Willie and Fart. But you know what I mean.
That's fine. I don't charge appearance fees. That's the next level.
Well, what's the money coming out on my account on a monthly basis then?
That's for my silence, mate.
On that bombshell, enjoy the Super Bowl. We will see you on the other side, and let's hope it's a good one. And the most important thing, let's hope the Super Bowl halftime show is epic.
Let's go, Wes.
These top guys are out.